Hey, what's going on, guys? Taylor Cacchiola from Namra Consulting here with my two partners, Russ Mangson and Sahil Patel. Happy New Year. Today, we're going to talk about a few new updates going on Facebook and Meta and a few other current events. So let's jump right into it. All right, Sahil, I guess I'll kick it off to you first.
Let's first say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Okay.
New Year, everyone.
Yeah. So I was down and out. I had the old school flu, and the old school flu still has its fastball. The old school flu is still, it had me down. Yeah, but it was good. Christmas was awesome. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
But excited to be doing the podcast again. I know we took like a little couple week hiatus for the holidays, and in that time there were quite a few updates coming out, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just to lead things off, one of those was on January 3rd. So Meta again released a whole bunch of updates as it, relates to their ads manager. And this time on January 3rd, they released what was called the self-serve ad terms.
Interesting.
Updates. And really what this impacts is, as the name says, a lot of these campaigns that you kind of do implement yourselves.
The DIY people.
Exactly. And, we went through these updates and kind of read through them, seeing like how you're going to have to make changes and what it impacts and whatnot. So I wanted to just talk about some of those big pointers right now. That way, the folks that are listening don't have to go through them. So one of the biggest ones was Meta literally came out and just said, we will and we can at any point reject any ad.
Yeah.
Like literally one of the clauses in like this update letter. And for the folks that are interested and you want to read it, you just have to go into Ads Manager. It's a notification right up top. If you click the update, it'll actually bring up all of the updates. And I believe it was like number 3 on it. It just flat out states, hey, we're going to be rejecting stuff.
So let me ask you, is that why do they do that? Why are they doing that? Is that to cover themselves for when their AI accidentally pulls down campaigns on mistake? So they change the policies to like cover themselves, or is there a reason they're doing that? Why do you think that is?
I mean, that can very well be one reason for it. Yeah. I think there's many reasons. I mean, one is like just the sheer amount of updates that are being released on such a vast platform. There's just so many bugs out there, so many things that they still need to fix, so many things that they thought that they already fixed but are still broken. So it's leading to a lot of broken campaigns, a lot of rejections. So it could very well be the reason that you said, T, but it could also just be, hey, they don't want to deal with all of these just support tickets coming in. Like, hey, my ad was running last week, now it's rejected this week.
Just be like,
it was running last week, now it's not running this week. Because there's thousands of those coming in. Yep. So this way they can just say, hey, you know what? Your ad triggered a rejection. It's ran through by our AI. So if it determined that it was rejected, it was rejected.
Yeah,
like that's it. So that was one of the things. Another big thing was now if you actually go into the results column, there is a blue exclamation point there. And if you hover over that, this wasn't there before. If you hover over that, it very clearly states that do not expect the same results that you were expecting before. Like, I believe the exact quote that they have is like, results will vary or results could be delayed because reporting will be done by a third-party API. So, in other words, really what that's saying is there's lots of updates happening, so the campaigns are not going to perform the same way as they used to before. And during this time, while they work on all these changes, like your results will be different than what you thought. So if you ran campaigns in the past, if you're expecting the same for the same dollar invested, it might be different. Maybe it's your first time running campaigns and you've seen how ads have performed for others in the past and you were trying to replicate some of that. Might be different. So there's definitely going to be lots of results variety. So one, ads, you're going to face rejections. And you're not going to get any explanation as to why. Before, when your ads were rejected, especially if you were in like a special ads category, it would tell you like, hey, this one word is triggering the rejection, or you need to make this one change, and we'll approve it. But no, one, you will face rejections. Two, don't expect the same results. So what I really wanted to go off of with this update was like, if you are like an ads dominant business, or you had ads as a big part of your strategy, at least for quarter one, it wouldn't hurt to just think about more of an organic push, just organic content, while a lot of these update cycles are kind of taking care of themselves. A lot of bugs are being fixed. I think that's where you're going to get, the most bang for your buck. And of course it does depend on what type of business you are and what your objective with the ad is, right? Like if you're like a local restaurant that just has like a Tuesday, burger special, and you're just running like a quick boost, it's not going to impact you as much. But if you're going to be thinking about, some advanced campaigns, some customized ones, so it might. So, it is a case-by-case basis with ads, but just keep these things in mind if you are pursuing like a ads-heavy strategy. Like you will face some bottlenecks, so definitely incorporate some organic side to that.
Absolutely. I think it's a good rule of thumb, and it kind of goes along with the theme of everything we talked about last year too, with you need to be diversified in how you're managing your digital marketing and how you're managing your social media campaign. You can't be overly reliant on one avenue or just paid ads. You have to be really doing the day-to-day organic stuff as well to really support yourself long-term, so that you can keep up with your branding, your advertising, and stay top of mind.
Absolutely.
There's another sort of like unintended consequence for small business owners is that the ability to just reject any ad at any time means you have to check every day now.
Yeah.
So that's like, you got to factor that in. It's when we say it's becoming more complex on these platforms, it's because of little things like that require a little more daily maintenance than you originally time budgeted for. There's no more set it and forget it ads.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's just so different than updates of the past. Just the amount of updates and changes that have happened on these platforms these last couple years or so have they've overwhelmed the platforms themselves. Mm-hmm. They've tried to fix things, and it's led to more broken things, and then they've tried to fix one bug, and it creates 10 different bugs. It's led to this chaos. And on the organic side of things, you usually only feel changes to these platforms when it impacts direct functions, right? Like if the post button used to be here on the right side and now it's moved to the left, like that's when you realize, okay, like maybe Facebook changed a bit, you know, this. But when you're running ads on a daily basis, you really do just see like how much chaos is going on, and when it comes to like ads.
Yeah.
It's not just like rejections. It's rejections with like no explanations. It's campaigns that you would think are perfectly fine. They're going to get approved right off the bat and still rejected, which, impacts timelines, which impacts like goals. It impacts, exactly what you're going to change the messaging with. Like what results do you expect? Like it impacts so much. And the hardest part is you don't have a clear answer, because like there's just changes being released like every single week.
Yep.
Like this was January 3rd and it was so big. Like, the mid of January might come out and they might say, hey, we're doing another one. And then like, what's that going to hold? Right. So it's, there's a
lot of changes.
Yeah. The volume of the changes that have been released is it's insane.
Now, as far as other changes going on these platforms, what else are you seeing? What else are some new things to look for this coming year?
Well, one thing that was very interesting was, and I don't know if this has been rolled out on all accounts yet or not, but I think I saw a teaser on Instagram where there was live stream shopping going on.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I hadn't seen that before, and I think that's something that they probably are going to release in or at least highlight it more.
Well, did you see
this year? But yeah, it was No, it was like one of those, you know, like when Instagram releases like a new update, like it sometimes has like a demo, like
Yeah.
right when you open up the app, like, hey, by the way, check out these new features.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. It was like a pop-up.
Cool.
Like now introducing live stream shopping and
Like QVC.
yeah, like subscribe to like your favorite, you know, stores or follow your favorite stores, and like you'll be able to live stream shop their catalogs or something like that.
So
which you know, and yeah, it was just like a pop-up, but that's pretty cool. Like if you're the right retail business with like huge following, that might be huge.
Yeah, it's just literally old stuff becoming new again. It's like that's what QVC was when they had all the old people watching TV buying stuff. It still goes on, but it's like that's just taking that and now we're doing it on Instagram.
In today's age.
Yeah, in today's age.
right.
And did you see the other thing they implemented was it was basically like AIM away messages on Instagram. So now, like, if you swipe over to the right, it's literally just AIM away
back
messages.
to basics.
Back to it's everything is a cycle. It's all trends just coming full circle.
I like when that happened, and like literally the first 10.
We're like,
what
what
like
is
on
this?
that section was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, no. So no, definitely a lot of things coming up, but yeah, that was pretty interesting to see. Yeah, let's see where they go with that.
Yeah, they dedicated an entire bottom row to Instagram shopping, and I haven't seen a lot of people like using that dedicated tab. Like I don't know anyone who like goes into the Instagram shopping tab and uses it. I know a ton of people who literally say, I just wait until Instagram sends me stuff like through ads and I buy it. Like like built t-shirts and hats. Like I know a ton of people who do like all their shopping off of Instagram ads, but I don't know anyone who like goes in and uses the platform and like scrolls through and shops that way. But so it's interesting. They really are pushing Instagram shopping a lot.
I think they want to make it as powerful as like what they did with like Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Because like they did a lot of integrations on Marketplace. You know?
Marketplace friggin' killed Craigslist.
Like first it was just like, you know, you could just have your own listings and message a seller, but that turned into like now stores can list on Marketplace, and you can, you know, have shipping options, and like it just kept building. And I feel like Instagram, they never really went more than just like, you know, hey, like publish your catalog and that's all you can do. Like if someone shops, you can just have like a payment integration. That was it.
Yeah.
But now I feel like they're investing more.
You can tag the shirt that you're wearing, and that can link to the shop, right?
Yeah.
So like that really should be like the end goal of Instagram, is like everything that you're wearing,
just tag. Yeah.
There's a link, and it goes,
yeah.
so you can buy every shirt you see, every pair of sunglasses, every watch. You can just buy it right when you see it.
Yeah.
You know, and then everybody eventually can become like a little micro influencer. Like we could just sell
have
our
your
Namra
affiliate
shirts,
have your affiliate links and stuff.
You know.
Yeah, I think it all comes back to like with those tabs, like you said with Marketplace. Like now, Marketplace has so many people just going on there and scrolling. There's so much attention on just Marketplace. Like they sell a ton of ad space.
There's houses on Marketplace.
They sell so much ad space on Marketplace. So it's like
now there's actually like apartments for lease, houses on Marketplace.
Yeah,
like, you know,
cars,
it's like
realtor sharing. Like
sold my grandmother's car on Marketplace.
I love it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Keep an eye on it, folks.
Keep an eye on that. Yeah. What else you got? What else is going on?
Well, on the note of everything getting a little more complicated in the ad space, was just like time being your biggest resource as a business. Wanted to segue that into things that we've seen over the last few months, year. You know, we work with lots of different businesses, whether it's through our sales cycle or current clients, whatever it is. We network a ton. We just talk to a lot of business owners and figure out what situations they're in. And there's some things that we've noticed that like a lot of business owners, like well-intentioned office people and social media managers, just are wasting their time on things that may not be a priority right now. Like everything's good to do. Everything on social media is great to be working on. Yeah. But sometimes
a few things that we're seeing common hiccups, common pitfalls that some of these DIY business owners are doing, and common headaches.
And it's prioritizing, right? Like everybody starts off with no business and no followers. So there's sort of a blueprint from like growing in a real organic following to eventually graduating to doing higher level campaigns and so on. And we as marketing consultants sort of know the path. So when we see like foundational things being done wrong, and business owners focusing on like high level idea creation or like content strategies, it's like you don't even have, the example is like you don't even have your Google business profile filled out, but you're like really worried about going viral on TikTok, you know? And so things like that we pick up on often. And one of the biggest ones we already talked about, but like running like $100 campaign, like in ad spend on like a super complex custom ad set, when you really should just be running like a boost that takes you, you know, way less time to set up. Things like that. Things like
people just waste a lot of time trying to go way too deep.
Yeah.
When it's like
when you don't even have the basics right yet.
Yeah, and I think to kind of encapsulate that entire thing, before you start worrying about conversion-based ads, make sure that you have the basic foundational things done. Yeah. Is your Google business profile set up? Do you have your Facebook and Instagram pages integrated, connected, and like set up properly? You know, do you have a YouTube channel? Are you creating day-to-day content? Making sure you have those basic fundamental things so that when you do run a paid ad set or you do run a conversion-based campaign, what do those people see when they come back? You know, is your website messed up? Is there errors on your website copy? You know, did you have the right contact information on your website and on Google? Making sure those fundamental things, those foundational things are done right so that when you do those more advanced tactics, they are actually fruitful and you get the most out of them. Because unfortunately, you can spend 10 hours doing one really small thing that leads to no results when you could have taken those 10 hours and put it towards the basics, the foundational stuff. And that actually really is like a long-term business asset now. Those are things that will stay with you and be solid forever. So it's like, when you're time blocking, make sure you're time blocking in order of importance first, you know, really rank order those things. And I've seen a ton, I think we've both seen a ton of people wasting a lot of time on these like really granular things, trying to go deep. And it's just one of the biggest things. So what's another one of those like common issues that you're seeing?
And I just wanted to add, just control your objectives.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like making a to-do list. If you intentionally write like 40 things, like every little thing down, and you over plan, like you might open that to-do list up that given day and be like, oh my God, like, you know, I'm overwhelmed. like I have so much going on, like so much. It's a similar feeling to that. Like I know, like when you're, you know, especially for new business owners, like if you're just planning out your goals and stuff, it's easy to kind of over plan and plan too hypothetically into the future. Where, you know, like Russ mentioned, if you don't even have the foundational Google My Business listing set up, like there's no reason why you should be tailoring out, you know, 3 Google AdWords campaigns for like you don't even have a listing yet. Right. So it's like control your objectives, like take it step by step, like, you know, outline maybe 4 or 5 like dominant objectives, like build those out first and then keep building. You'll have much less bottlenecks that way.
And I love, too, what Taylor said about just, like, those 10 hours, like, misused in the wrong direction. 10 hours a week compounded over a year can be the difference between winning and losing when we're talking about going in the right direction or the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. If it's your competitor and they're doing everything right, they have their priorities lined up, everything's, like, running efficiently because they know what they need to do and what order to do it in.
It can make a big difference.
It can make a huge difference. So, sure. And that really is like the difference between winning and losing in some cases. So,
yeah. What's another one of those common issues that you've seen?
Trying to do everything on your own.
Yeah. Knowing what you should do on your own.
Yeah. Like a lot of people, they are trying, like,
that's such a timeless lesson too. Like you don't have to do everything.
Yeah. Like social media management is such a broad all-encompassing term, right? So like I think I see a lot of people like who are business owners on their own who do something total, like a plumber, for example, right? And they're also trying to map out the content calendar, come up with scripts for the video, figure out like what the ad strategy should be, like thinking like that they have a grip on SEO, thinking like all this stuff. And it's like you can't possibly be an expert in everything we do and everything you do. Yeah. You know, and it takes a lot of time to do it well. So I think like just thinking that, especially now, I wouldn't like,
I think one of the most common things that I've seen is as things have changed, as you know, the advent of Instagram Reels, the changing of all of these paid advertising campaigns, getting rid of smart campaigns on Google. The biggest things that I've seen, common issues, are one, trying to do video editing on your own. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing that I hear people saying. Like, I have spent so much time, and I have 3 Instagram Reels to show for it, and they have 300 likes each. It's like, I just wasted so much time. Yeah. You do it, and you can hire us to do that stuff. We can do remote video editing. So video editing. Some people love it, and some people are really, really good at it, and that's fine. But if you're not passionate about it, if it doesn't come easy to you, stop doing that. You're wasting your time. You should be running your business. You shouldn't be creating Instagram Reels. If it's something you really hate, stop. You don't have to do that. The next thing is running paid ads. I've talked to so many business owners and marketing managers who have taken multiple webinars and WebEx classes on do-it-yourself paid advertising on Facebook, Instagram, Google. They spend all of this time and money on these webinars, and then they never actually implement it themselves. It is the biggest. It's probably bigger than video editing. I think that's the biggest waste. So those are the 2 things.
And those webinars aren't cheap.
And they're not cheap,
man. You spent it in
Jesus
ad spend.
Yeah, exactly. You could have used that for your marketing. So, and I get it why you want to learn a skill, but it's just not the skill to learn when you are have to be an expert in something else.
Yeah.
So I really, really can't stress those 2 things enough. The video editing and the DIY paid advertising are the 2 biggest things this past year that I've seen that were, a real time suck for people.
Mm. Yep. I love that. Just on the posting end, too much time worrying about the algorithm and what's trending and not enough time posting.
Yes.
Analysis paralysis and just being a perfectionist is crazy sometimes.
Yeah, people go through spurts where it's I posted every single day or twice a day for 2 weeks, and then they post nothing for 6 months. That's a big one.
Yep. I always tell people you should start with what you can do consistently for 6 months. So if you think you can only make 6 videos in 6 months, start there.
Or one a week, one a week. There's nothing wrong with posting once a week to get it when you're getting started.
Get her going.
It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
Same thing. We've talked about this a million times, but start with something that's manageable that you can handle.
I think another big thing is I think doing a mindset change from I can't to how can I goes a long way in tackling some of these. Because if you're stuck in the mindset of I can't have someone else do this, I can't give away control of doing this particular thing because I like it so much to someone else, or no, I don't have the budget to have someone edit my videos, I have to do it myself. If it's just always I can't, I don't, I won't, instead of you just take the time to at least think about maybe how can I?
Yeah.
How can I maybe, how can I maybe, Russ mentioned a plumber, for example. How can I maybe get one more job that might fund me, getting at least 3 videos edited for me? And maybe that will give me, some hours back that I could do another job, or maybe, 2 jobs. And now I have more funds to do it. Just think about how can I, and so as it pertains to your business and your goals, and oftentimes just that mindset change gives you the answers that you need to actually get rolling on some of these, instead of constantly being trapped in what you feel like you have to do by yourself all the time, but you don't really. There are ways, right? Yeah. We're always open for conversation too. If you even need to be guided in the right direction, it's sometimes just having a conversation with someone helps, a 15-minute conversation, just a phone call. But don't think everything is I can't, I won't, it's no. Yeah. How can I, and how can I try my best to make sure that I hit these objectives?
I like that. I like that a lot.
I think as our expertise grows, that's the thing that we've become best at, is helping you with a small budget get to the point where you may have a bigger budget. That's really our job, right? Yeah. So if you come with us and say, look, I'm at ground zero, we know how to get you to step 1, step 2, step 3. That's what it's all about. I had a conversation today, and it's often not what you think. We talk about this often on the podcast, but like maybe you're not marketing to consumers. Maybe you're marketing to referral partners.
Yep.
And that's a huge one that a lot of people, it's a blind side for a lot of people. And all their graphics pertain to like, how do I make my company seem great to like the customer? Sometimes it's about your networking partners and, you know, other people in the industry. So that's just one idea, but
that's why that persona sheet is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. Anything else on that?
That's all I had.
Cool.
Awesome.
Anything else on your side of things that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, well, one thing I wanted to mention was a insight just at the tail end of 2022, just a social media review. It looks like in terms of seeing the most engagement rebound, LinkedIn was number one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I
They
just
had a
wanted
good
to throw
year.
that out there. Yeah. LinkedIn's getting,
Without a doubt, the comeback story.
So that was actually an official stat that came out that said that kind of
rebound. in terms of overall engagement. So there were two metrics. It was a bounce back in the level of engagement, like, if engagement was steady for a long period of time, was there like a spike? Like that's what it's referring to, like how many people came back to it.
Yeah, I understand.
And also just overall, just consistent engagement. And both of those, LinkedIn was making a rebound.
Yeah.
Literally a rebound. Like they've slowly started, getting back to where they were in being like the professional network. And I believe the same article mentioned that they were working on a lot of video connection tools to, further better their experience. I don't know exactly what that meant, but from just guessing, I assume it just means like more like on video tools. Like if you're in the middle of like an interview or a presentation or something, it's, similar to how Zoom is adding, how Zoom has now added like the marker, like the whiteboard and other integrations. I assume they're doing the same thing.
That makes sense.
So, but more so tailored towards professionals and, like a meeting or an office setting. But yeah, that was very interesting. You always just hear about, Meta, IG, TikTok, but LinkedIn making a comeback.
Interesting.
I'm so rooting for LinkedIn. Yeah. Like I do think it could have been great all along, and it should be the best way to connect with other professionals. And it's like sad that Facebook became the way to network. You go to a BNI event, you add everybody on Facebook, chamber event, add everybody on Facebook, follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people still use LinkedIn, but like way more than should are using like Instagram and Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it'll be great if it makes a huge comeback, and that's like the real best way to connect with professionals.
For sure. Because I think it still does have a certain air to it, that it's like, this is the professional platform, so it's not weird. Like there's no stigma whatsoever if you meet someone at a networking event, adding them on LinkedIn.
Right.
Like that alone is like very important to have that like kind of good standing and branding. Like people do use it. So I could really see them doing well.
They got away. Yeah. And I used to love LinkedIn. Like before it just, they kind of let it get away from them. It turned into a lot of just a plethora of like spam emails accounts. And people were posting personal stuff and it turned into sales. Like a Facebook. It turned into like and now they're working on corrections. I think the one thing they should do is they should get rid of that one subscription that allows people to do in-mail only. It's actually LinkedIn's like cheapest.
Really?
It's one of their cheapest services because LinkedIn Campaign Manager is actually pretty expensive in terms of like bid caps and ad spend required. It's significantly higher than Facebook, actually any other platform. At least that's my opinion. But they have this one service where if you don't want to get premium and you don't want to run ads, they have this one where it gives you like a certain amount of in-mail messages or something like that. I think if they got rid of that, it would just stop all of this spam coming into like people's inbox. Like obviously, that's revenue for them. Like it sucks, but I think that's what's led to a lot of just these just spam agencies, spam in-mails just coming through. Like there's like 20, like 40, like sometimes 50 of them like every day.
I never open my inbox.
Nothing gives me more anxiety than my LinkedIn mailbox.
Well, it was one of the things which deterred away which deterred people away from the platform because they couldn't keep track of their own conversations. Like they would send like, okay, if I met you at a networking event, I'll add you and say like, hey, it was great connecting. Like, let's, grab lunch sometime or so. Like that would just get lost in like the, freaking 60 emails that would come the next morning. It's like, yeah. So it was just, if they got rid of that one, I feel like that would help. But who knows? But they are making good strides. They've taken care of a lot of just the junk that was happening on LinkedIn. So it is making a bounce back.
Yeah, I like it. I'm looking forward to it. I still love the feature where you can invite 250 people at a time to your business page. I think that's huge. Mm-hmm. They need to develop that business feature, the feature where a business page can actually have a dialogue and a conversation with the direct audience. It's never been there, and now I think they're starting to get there. So I think that's a great feature.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anything else going on?
Still got a couple bullets. You want to do Twitter, T?
One kind of cool thing on Twitter that I saw is we've talked about it in the past, but they're trying to become more appealing for advertisers. And one way that I think they're doing that on the organic side of things is every single tweet you can actually see the view count now. So before you could see how many people have liked it, retweeted it, and actually responded to it. Now they have a metric for actually seeing a view count, which is so obvious. I don't know why they never did that, but it's just one of those daily organic metrics that if you're going to use it as a business owner, you need to know that, or it's at least very, very valuable. And I know Elon tweeted something out that on average, every single tweet is seen 100 times more than it's favorited or liked liked. So that's a very important thing to highlight when you're talking about if you're trying to market your platform, that's something you want to be seen. That the same is not always true across the other platforms. So I thought that was pretty cool.
A lot of businesses forecast their business operations based on how much acquisition they're going to get from the total number of impressions or views or just reach, because their past data, whether it's from ads or overall, just mailers or whatever they used to do, it all goes off of that number, which is why that's so important that Twitter did that. Because if a business knew, if I put this one material out there, I know in the past that if 10,000 people have seen it, I've gained 15 customers. Yep. That's happened for me consistently in the past. Well, now if Twitter displays that just it gives that business another avenue to pursue,
a reason to use the
platform.
Yeah,
so that's why that is so big. It's especially for the businesses that know their numbers and they know what my acquisition is. It's a whole nother avenue.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. Still keeping an eye out on those guys for sure.
Yeah, I believe they are also coming out with priority tweets, which is another change to the algorithm.
I haven't seen that
it's
one.
Now you can and it's still all new, but I believe it's just gonna prioritize, similar to how Instagram did okay, only show me posts from those that have it's similar to that on Twitter too, where it's no, I only want to see tweets from
that makes
Elon.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And they changed the verification process up a ton. So now there's two different types of verification on Twitter. There's a yellow check mark and a blue check mark. Blue check mark is a different level of verification than the yellow check mark.
I still don't have that memorized. It's
the yellow check mark says that something could be potentially inaccurate or inauthentic. Blue check mark is.
There's a gray too, I think.
Is there a gray one too? Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm asking.
No, I'm sure they're coming out with it, but I know yellow and blue. So it's just something to keep an eye out. They're making a lot of changes now, so it'll be interesting.
Love it. Speaking of fake accounts, spam's through the roof.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Through the roof.
If you get a spam email or you get some sort of suspicious email from Facebook, Instagram, anything, look at the domain where that email is coming from. If it's from facebook.com or some facebookads.com, it's not Meta. It's not legit. You have to be very, very careful. There is a ton of that spam going out. It's the biggest uptick I've ever seen. I've had so many clients message me saying, hey, this says my account's been hacked or my account is at risk. And it's just from some like Hotmail, Gmail or account.
Right.
So keep an eye on that stuff.
I mean, the best rule of thumb.
Don't click anything. Don't open stuff.
If you didn't do anything on Facebook, you're not going to get an email from Facebook. It's only if you like logged in on another device and it'll tell you like, okay, we're sending you a verification email. And then, yeah, you'll get the email. There's under no other circumstances aside from like you just ran an ad or,
and
like,
it just goes back to just be careful. Like if you have any suspicious links or suspicious emails, look at the actual email, where it's coming from. And then the other one is the biggest uptick is calls, and there's text messages from like supposedly UPS, like, hey, your package has been stopped. Click this link to see it. And they do this around the holidays because everyone has packages out in the mail. Right. So it's really good phishing, but do not click on those. Like, make sure you're really vetting those. Yeah. And then the last one that I wanted to bring up, which I talked to a guy in IT about this. What they do is they call you to try to get you on the phone, and they'll even say, like, I fell victim to this one where it was like, hey, if you'd like us to stop calling you, please say yes. And what they want is a recording of your voice. So those people who think it's funny to like mess around with spammers and keep them on the line and bust their balls, it's like not a good idea, because what they're doing is copying your voice so they can deep fake your voice to get into your bank account.
Crazy.
And talk as you. They need to hear you say yes. So yeah, don't talk to. If you get a spam call, hang up, block the number, and then get ready to do it again in 10 minutes. But just keep doing that. Don't mess around with them. Don't talk to them.
Yep.
Yeah. Just a quick checklist though for like if like you've received like some of these things, right? Especially like because there is a lot of like Facebook phishing and spam going on too. A quick checklist for that is, number one, yes, Facebook does sometimes send emails. Like if your main question is, does Facebook ever contact me? It does.
Yep.
If you have like certain ad campaigns running, that, you know, if like an ad got rejected or something, or if it's like a bill for ad spend and stuff, like you will get an automated email from Facebook. So yes, they do email you. If you've reached out to Facebook for something via like their support email, like you might get something back. Like, so yes, Facebook does reach out to you, right? But now if you do get an email from Facebook, the first thing you can do is if you go on Google and just type in domains or email handles that Facebook will email you from. The first link is Facebook's link, which they very clearly state, like, these are the handles that are active right now under Meta. So these are ours. And if you do receive something from this, like, they're legit.
Yep.
So the first thing you could do is just reference that list and see if that email handle is on there.
Yep.
And if it is, the second thing you can do is any link that is part of that email, you could just hover over it with your mouse. What this does is it will display the entire URL of what's, you know, embedded as
Don't
part
click,
of that
just
button.
hover.
Just hover. Yeah, that's key. It's just a quick test you can do to really figure out if something is spam or not. You know, if you just if you have no one to like reach out to it then and there, if you're like freaking out, if it's like a bad email or something, like just hover over the link and see, like, if it's a long ass URL or it redirects to some different, you know, off page or something, like that's a clear giveaway. Like that is phishing, that's scam. A real button like will not have a long URL or something, like it'll say like facebook.com or something like that. So again, first just refer to the list that Facebook has put out there. Again, you do that by going on Google, just, you know.
Do you have that up by any chance? Did you look that? I thought you were looking that up.
Yeah. I was looking at an email that I got from.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead.
Gotcha.
So the first thing, check out the domains.
First thing, refer to the domain list. You do that by just search Google by emails that Facebook will email you from. And the first link is Facebook Community Center, which there's like 10. There's 10 domains in there. Sometimes it goes to 8 sometimes, but it's good to reference. So first, reference. Second, just hover over any buttons. Like if it is a domain that is part of that list, because sometimes there are phishing emails that do have replicated URLs. So you might think this is legit, but it might still be spam.
Yep.
So after that first step, just hover over a link. If it looks weird or there's a bunch of numbers or it's too long that it doesn't even fit on the screen, like that is spam.
They'll email you again if it's real.
Yeah, there's spam. And number 3, like actually see if you're having the issues. Like if you get an email from Facebook saying your account is like going to be deleted, like if you do not press this button or something like that.
Go on Facebook.
Log into your account. Has Facebook displayed any
everything
notifications
looks okay.
for you? Like, is there anything in your notifications that says like, hey, we noticed a suspicious login or anything? Because if Facebook hasn't told you, then it's spam.
Yeah, if you're getting an email, you probably also got a real Facebook notification.
Yeah. It's like if you get an email that like, hey, you're like, your account's going to be deleted in like 14 days if you don't act now. Well, did you go through Facebook's very intricate, funnel of going through and deleting your account?
Yeah, it's
because you have to go into settings, remove your email, they send a verification, and then they mark it for deletion after third. Like, did you do that yourself?
Yeah.
Does someone else have like your Facebook login that could have? Just ask them, by act. Because if not, then don't worry about it. Like again, all of these phishing scams are based off of emotional responses.
Right.
Like they want to scare you. They want you to click that button right away. You don't know if it's going to be like a Trojan. You don't know if it's going to be malware. You don't know if it's going to be phishing. So like, don't click it. Like, and yeah, just the last thing that you can do is like, most of the time, like Facebook knows like your login, like they know who they're dealing with. So if anything is asking you to log in again, or by mistake, if you clicked a link and it's asking you to log into your Facebook or anything, don't log in. Like if Facebook does have an issue with, like they already know you. Right. Okay. Like you're going to be able to log into your app and like see what the issue is. Right. If you have to re-log in anywhere, connect a third party or anything like that, stay away from it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just a quick rundown again, refer to the domain list. Just make sure where the email came from is actually Facebook verified. Second, hover over any links, see if it's suspicious. Third, actually confirm if you are having these issues. Like if
in the real world, just look. Yep.
As an example, if you received a scare email that your account might be deleted, go on your Facebook app, see if Facebook is saying anything. Okay. Like if it says your ads manager is going to be deleted, you'll lose all your campaigns. Go into your ads manager. Does it say anything about it being deleted? Because if Facebook was really deleting it, it will say it in big letters, like up top, like either your account's been disabled or, hey, it will be deleted if you don't update your credit card terms, or like it will say it. Okay. And lastly, anything that asks you to log in, that has come through an avenue like this, whether it's a text message or anything, it's don't do it. You don't need to log in. They know you're logged in. Why are they asking you to log in again?
Yep. Perfect. I think that's a perfect rundown of kind of the best ways to avoid some of those phishing scams. And
I have a funny, not spam, but
what's that?
The Facebook copy and paste posts.
Oh yeah, that's actually another good one that I was talking to. I think I don't know if I sent it to you guys, but those copy and paste things, don't do those. Like, don't do them.
I mean, do them, but
no.
don't think you.
This will be great to end it with.
So this is actually listen to this. And one of my IT buddies was telling me about this. Don't do those because people target individuals that do them.
Oh,
because if you do the copy and paste post, like copy and paste this post to tell Mark Zuckerberg, I don't want any more ads.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not real. Okay. Obviously. But what they do is they target people that do posts like those because it's all older people and it's all people who are not tech savvy. So by doing those copy and paste posts, by copying and pasting and saying, hey, if you're a real friend, you'll copy and paste this post and share it. It's like, if you do that, you are exposing yourself and putting you're putting a big target on your back. So don't do those things. It is funny.
They're written
but it's
funny because it's like, hold your thumb down on the text text, press the copy button, then press the what's on your mind bubble and click paste. Like that's like
dude, they're dummy proof.
That's the process.
But do you understand that? That's why those Fisher, like that's why it makes you a target.
Yeah.
Because
and if it's so clear on how to do it.
I never thought of that actually. That like it totally makes sense.
Exactly. So that's why I hate seeing that stuff. Like when my grandmother sends me stuff through Messenger, I'm like, oh my God, please stop.
Too funny. I had to bring that up. We had a client text us one of them, so I had to bring that up this week. Only other thing before we do FTX was algorithms and decentralized platforms.
Yeah, that was just a quick thought that I had. I feel like, if there is, with Musk taking over Twitter and this push towards just decentralizing social networks, like, hey, no more, biased like fact checkers or whatever people are like fighting for, as it pertains to like, the platform. If there is a push towards more and more decentralization, I feel like that is going to change up algorithms quite a bit on just how certain content is displayed and whatnot, because it just completely impacts the way like content is displayed if it just truly really turns into there is no monitoring of content anymore.
And if they go to like a chronological timeline or something like that.
Exactly. So that was just a quick note. I mean, if more of that does happen, I feel like it could impact algorithms.
Yeah,
for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's a sort of a long-term thing to keep an eye on.
Yep.
Cool. FTX?
Organic's always going to win though. Like it's no matter how, because at the end of the day, content will be published. So if you're, and this goes back to the conversation we were having earlier, where it's if you're over planning what might happen or what's trending or what it's like be mindful that changes could occur, but like stick to your authenticity, stick to your content, and you need to publish. And whether there's ad changes happening, whether there's algorithm changes happening, whatnot, it's if you just focus on value-driven content, because at the end of the day, platforms need viewers, and viewers tune into value.
That's it.
So it's like regardless of algorithm change, like value-driven content will win because people will follow you for that. So just prioritize value-driven content and stay true to who you are, be authentic, and just keep putting it out there. Like, don't worry about all these like changes that could happen. Like, we'll keep an eye on it. Like, if there's anything that comes up, like, we'll talk about it. Like, if there is a specific function that you might benefit from, we'll put out. But the end goal of maintaining your content strategy should not be altered. Like, value-driven content will win.
Yep,
that's it.
I love it.
Cool. And then the FTX thing, I think we could talk about another time. It's it's really kind of silly. It's that platform that crashed, FTX, a cryptocurrency. They had I think a couple Super Bowl commercials last year and some like pretty viral commercials with Larry David, Tom Brady, a bunch of people who were sponsors, and all of those people got sued. Like every single person who did a commercial for FTX and put their brand on the line with them, they got sued. Every single one of them. And even the Larry David one that was basically saying there's no way, it was like him being satirically saying like he didn't think like toilets would become a thing and that he didn't think FTX was ever going to be a thing. He's getting sued now because he was just a company with them, period.
Dare I say FTX was just a big company that did all ads, no organic.
No.
Like, you have to beware as a consumer.
Yeah. I have nothing to say as far as what happened with FTX.
I don't know what happened. I just thought that was a funny analogy because that's what we always joke about is like that you could run all the ads in the world, but if you actually don't have like a reputation and an organic presence, the ads don't mean anything. And it was
bad.
Yeah.
I've always been wary of companies that like if they're just started out and they just like with like seed capital or like venture cap, just like go out and hire 10 celebrities and just mass market it's like
You can do anything with
it's like
$100 million
if they're trying this hard, it's like let me do some homework before creating an account. But it's like
that's more of just a buyer beware thing. Like,
and that's one of those things where it's like I don't
check
understand
the company,
why.
do they have a reputation? Like whatever.
But so that I thought that was kind of crazy. So
no, that's hilarious though.
And there's some long-term implications on like Tom Brady as a guy who's known for his branding and like his brand. Like he was very exclusive about who he'd work with. So I think there's definitely an impact there. Like that damaged his brand, like his personal brand long term. Like he's the fucking FTX guy now. It's like it's stinks.
Very it's so true though what they
forget.
say about like reputation like takes years to build but like seconds to lose it, man.
That's it.
It's like it is very hard to gain that back.
Yep, for sure. So more Subway commercials coming to Tom, I'm sure.
Definitely.
After that.
Yeah, an interesting case story we can end with this will be to see how Southwest takes care of their consumers with all the flights cancellations. So they did you guys hear about this?
No.
Like how Southwest obviously they built their brand around like cheap flights, like no cost for check bags, and like always being customer centric. Which obviously they did a great job of. But recently, so they have been mass canceling flights. Like
this isn't recent though. Well, the past like 6 months though, right?
No, like this has happened like in December.
In December?
Yeah. So it's and this is not related to the overall cancellations that like all airlines have been facing.
Okay, this is different.
No, this is different. Yeah, this is very different from like the occasional Delta cancellation here or like some flight got overbooked.
Yeah, I got you.
No, this is like Southwest themselves. Like they were just like they just had this crisis where they canceled like 6,000 flights, like 7,000 flights during like holiday season and stuff. And the reason why I say it's going to be an interesting case study is like they were always customer centric, and obviously they've lost that reputation right now. Like the biggest thing that they had going for them, they're currently underwater for. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to it or how they're going to do damage control to kind of salvage and gain some of those back. It's like a huge branding case study right now. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Like, as a publicly traded, like, successful airline, everything was going well.
What was wrong? What happened? Was it like employees, was it like a strike?
No. It's, there are some staffing issues, but, it was just... there was something with like how like the flights were like routed or something, like some error happened. Just but the biggest headline was like Southwest cancels like 5,000 flights.
Ugh, that's tough.
And it's like prime holiday season. It's like and it's like no one was getting any answers. Like, can we get on this flight or like how are we gonna go see our family? It's like no one knew. So it's like it will be interesting because like literally Southwest operated on like customer loyalty.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing about a Southwest flight that's
special.
because in terms of like what in-flight services are, in terms of strong Wi-Fi, in terms of like professional services, maybe it's like a business person oriented flight. It's Southwest won because it's just randomized seating, right? You get to bring your check bags and like it's cheap.
Yep.
The reason why flights were cheap is because like they're just prioritizing you, not the flight itself. So, the only thing they had was like customer loyalty. So let's see.
Yeah. All
Something to read about though. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good place to end and hopefully a good, topic for future podcasts. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Cool.
As always, let us know if you have any questions.
All right. Thanks guys.